What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to let me get the mic closer to the Bianconeri Zone for another call-in show, and we have news to discuss. Finally, I would suggest better late than ever at this point. But we have a lot of news to go through. Not just me. You guys, as always, can call in. Link for that is in the comment section. No, it's not in the comment section. Should now be in the comment section. So if you want to call in, as always, click the link and I will bring you in and we can have a chat because we have a lot of things to go over. We have Nico Gonzalez potentially maybe moving to Atletico Madrid because Atletico Madrid have open talks with Juve and the player as well. There's a Colomani update from Di Marzio, so he's getting closer. However, the price tag seems not to add up. That's to say the least. We have Jadon Sancho getting closer to Roma, and the question is, well, you move out Nico Gonzalez, what's next? Because Comoli said if somebody else leaves, then Jadon Sancho potentially can come in, but now he's very close to joining Roma, and it could be done maybe today still. We have an O'Reilly update from Romano. We have Molina talks. And probably something else I'm blanking out at this moment in time. But all of that we're going to discuss in this live show. And then maybe, in a couple of minutes, more news might come out from the sources as always. But before we get into it, hit the like button. That's the most important thing. Subscribe to the channel. And let's talk about what's going on. Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate it. It's almost midnight over here, so completely a different part of the world. But appreciate that you're tuning in. Let's start with Nico Gonzalez because I think that's the breaking news from Fabrizio Romano and Matteo Moretto. Actually, everybody at this point. The news is very simple. Actually, it's old news that kind of kicked in right now because the report was always that Inter want Lookman. And they have Nico Gonzalez as a backup option. And same goes for Atletico Madrid. More on that in a second because of what Inter have done right now could affect the Nico Gonzalez potential move to Atletico Madrid as well. So the news is Atletico Madrid have open talks with Juve for Nico Gonzalez on a permanent move. And Nico Gonzalez is open to joining Atletico Madrid, according to Matteo Moretto. Then Mirko Di Natale said, it's not just money. The club potentially could bring in Molina into the deal because, as we know, we need somebody on the right. And Molina is liked by the club. Spanish reports are saying, the Molina thing is not so certain. I think it's more going to be money rather than, a deal that includes Molina and Nico Gonzalez, so that is the news. However, before I bring in the callers, because already two people waiting, the catch with that is that Atletico Madrid wanted Lookman. However, Lookman wanted Inter, and Inter promised Lookman, we're going to get you, etc. You know the story. What happened basically is that they offered around 40 plus bonuses or something, and Atalanta won 50 million euros. Lookman is on strike, etc. It's an entire drama, and Inter said, okay, we're not going to pay that money for Lookman, so we are going to offer 40 million plus for Kone from Roma. Different profiles, completely different profiles. I think a better profile for Inter right now. However, what that could mean for us, for Atletico, is that maybe Atletico will be like, we will pay that 50 million for Lookman, and we don't need Nico Gonzalez, and that opens up an entire different scenario where it's like, okay, what are you going to do? That's why Jadon Sancho is closer to Roma, because Roma, if they sell Kone, they will pay the money for Sancho because they made an offer to Atletico Madrid, to Man U, and Sancho has been waiting for ages. He's not going to wait forever, and he opened the door for Roma. So in that scenario, if you all mix it together, it's good news, and it can be disaster or bad news in a split second, and it can go either way. But that's kind of the news story at this moment in time when it comes to Nico Gonzalez. I will be shocked. We won around 30 million, so we don't make a loss on the books. I will be shocked if Atletico actually buys Nico Gonzalez when Lookman is still out there, given that Inter are stepping away from Lookman, if that's actually confirmed and it happens, and they signed Kone, I don't know how Lookman goes back to Atalanta after the statement, not showing up for training, etc. I think he will end up Atletico Madrid, and they will pay that money rather than paying the money for Nico Gonzalez. That's how I'm looking at it from that perspective. So right now, you kind of need to hope that Inter signs Lookman so you can get rid of Nico Gonzalez, because I think that's everybody's goal at this moment in time. Hello, can you hear me? Because you're on mute, whoever's calling in. I cannot see your name. In the meantime, I will read out some comments. If you can hear me, just you can say something and I will bring you in. The deal needs to capitalize. I can't see it being paid in installment. No way they're going to pay 30 upfront for him. You could be right for Nico Gonzalez. I think the club is okay with a loan, with an obligation, and etc. if they get some part of the money. I think it's more about knowing that you got him off the books and you got the wages off the books and the value kind of off the books. I think that's more of a thing for the club rather than them wanting 30 million upfront at this moment in time. So you could be completely right with that one. I wish we can work out with Dougie. We will talk about Douglas Luiz in a second. We'll focus on the Nico Gonzalez thing for now, and then we will see what else comes through. Again, the caller, you're on mute, so I cannot hear you. I cannot hear you, and I cannot bring you in. But when it comes to Nico Gonzalez, again, I saw, and I listened to journalists speaking on Sky Italia when the news kind of broke, and they were discussing it. They were talking about, man, is it too soon to move Nico Gonzalez out already? Because, well, you give up on a player after one season. I don't think it's too soon. I like to give players many chances. I still give Koopmeiners a shot, even though it looks completely pointless at this point at this stage. However, when it comes to Nico Gonzalez, it doesn't work out, because for me, like, if you stick him on the wing, it's not going to look good. If you ask him to be this man consistently, it's not going to look good. And right now it feels like we're asking him to do that. If you ask him to carry the ball from deep or pick it up from deep and try to restart it. And if you ask him to pick up the ball from deep and go again, he's gonna look bad. The only way you can get the best out of Nico Gonzalez, and the weird part with him is he's physical. Like, he can be physical, but for some reason, like, he doesn't use it in the right way. Like, he gets notched off the ball way too quickly, even against the next shot. Like, it's brutal to watch. It is brutal to watch. So if you don't ask him to do what he's good at, and for me, he's good at. I cannot hear you. To the caller in the chat, I cannot hear you because you have yourself muted. Let me give it a go. Again. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. I'm sorry. But when it comes to Nico Gonzalez, for example, what I was saying is that if you do not ask him to make those runs into the box, without the ball and etc., and you ask him to do what you're asking him right now, it's completely pointless to keep him and to give him a new shot, because you can give him 10 more starts or 20 more starts. It's just not going to work out. So at that stage, it's over, and you need to cash in. If the opportunity arises, comes up for Atletico, in this case scenario, Atletico Madrid, if they offer some money, you take that money. And you do smart business with it, obviously, but you do something with it. That's how I'm looking at it when it comes to Nico Gonzalez. I think he had his shots way too often, and for me, it's done. Like, for me, it's done. You're on mute, Danny. But yeah, for Nico Gonzalez, it's done. Can you hear me, Danny? Because I cannot hear you. It might be a StreamYard issue. That's weird. It might be a StreamYard issue. Give me one sec, people, because my mic is working. That's Okay, people, sorry for that. Let me know if I'm back because I think StreamYard is doing a crazy thing while we are on Nico Gonzalez. What I was saying is that his time is over, and I usually give people a lot of chances. But if you can cash in 30 million, you cash in 30 million on Nico Gonzalez, and you keep it moving. Now what you do with that money, that's for me very important. That's very important. So I think, I mean, yeah, I mean. Let's see, like it sounds a bit too good to be true, if that makes any sense, because it kind of came out of nowhere. I think everybody, I was expecting that it was never going to happen, that deal. Then can you unmute yourself again? I'm gonna give it another go.
Yeah.
Can you?
How
Oh,
about now?
yeah, people can hear you. So it was a StreamYard, I reloaded it. On the Nico Gonzalez topic, because I'm gonna try to go topic for topic in this live stream, so your questions will be on Nico. um are you part of the group, and it's not to call the group out, to say give him another shot for one more season? It's too soon to give up.
I mean, it's just that the formation that we're using now is like the what is it, the three, it's kind of like the 3-4-3, something like that. He's not a wing back, and he's not, like a roaming 10. He doesn't fit the system. Like if we had a traditional 4-3-3, I'm with you. I think we give him another shot. But it's just that the formation we have now, I mean, the only credit I'll give to Nico, and I think most of the fan base would agree, is that when he plays, he comes out with his shirt in dirt, grass stains. He gives it his all, 100% every time, and I appreciate that from him. I really do. But again, that's bare minimum, right? Everyone should be coming out the field like that, and I just don't think I never liked him from the beginning, from the get go. I don't think he was the one. I think he's a perfect example of a panic buy. Um, don't know why we decided to go for him. That's a Fiorentina player, and he's in that level. Um, he's not in that caliber, and I just think he's one of those players. Him and Coop. I'll be honest with you, that's another guy too. But sticking on the Nico, after that year, yeah, he can go. I mean, and then use those funds, bring in Kolomwani, maybe get a defender, and then call it a day. Unfortunately for him, yeah, he's got to go. I got no hard feelings, but yeah, he's got to go.
Are you because like it's not a done deal or whatever, it's just initial talks and etc. But are you worried about what, I don't know if you listened to what I said earlier on in the show? It's like Lookman, Atletico, Inter going for Kone. Lookman is out there. Yes, it's probably double the money. It's almost double the money for Nico Gonzalez. Are you scared that, well, Atletico's like, Lookman was our number one target and he's still out there, that they're like, okay, we're just gonna pay a bit more, get Lookman, and well, Nico Gonzalez is just going to stay for another season and play, I don't know, right wing back?
Honestly, man, I'm really scared that I don't think we're gonna see any movement until like the last week of the Mercato. That's my honest opinion, but I feel that um, I'm gonna say I think we're done in the Mercato. I think we are gonna stay with Dusan. We're gonna stay with Nico. We'll probably stay with Douglas. Um I really do feel that we're stuck. Um, if you can compare Nico for Lookman, yeah, I'd go for Lookman every day. The only thing there is if Atalanta want straight buyout, if they don't want
Yeah.
to do installments, and then we offer Nico, like you said, if we did like a 2-year, 3-year loan with an obligation to buy, then it makes more sense to go for Nico because it's easier on the books. But that's the only way I would see. I would prefer Nico over Lookman. But compared player to player, if they were, let's say everything was the same boat, same price, Lookman all day. I mean, I don't think that's. I wouldn't. I don't think no one would disagree on that.
The follow-up question is, because it's all linked, the names I'm talking about right now, is
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho. And well, you can talk about do you like Jadon Sancho? You can say that as well, or you don't like Jadon Sancho. However, that's not really the point that I'm trying to make with the question. The question is, we waited very long on Jadon Sancho or whatever he waited, and now he's very close to Roma. And I remember an interview Comoli gave about 4 weeks ago, because it was the first week when I was on holiday, and he did his first interview, and he was asked about Jadon Sancho. It was like, well, if somebody leaves, we will bring in another winger. But now it feels, well, Nico Gonzalez might leave, but you're not bringing in Jadon Sancho. And this is not about Jadon Sancho. This is more about, well, who are you bringing in then? Do you think the club has an alternative? Because I've not seen anything from an alternative. Or is the club going in a completely different direction? But then I'll sit back and I'm like, we have absolutely no cover up there. Like, if something happens with one player, we are in serious trouble. Or they're really banking their hopes on coal miners doing a job behind the 10, or will Colomani do something strange, like, because we've seen him play Colomani on the left, not for many minutes, but I've seen it, at Juve. Will that happen? So, how much are you fearful that, yeah, they end up moving Nico Gonzalez, but they have no other option?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I think we waited too long in the mercato to make a move. Um, I know Jadon Sancho would be a pretty good. I think if you were to bring him in, I think he can easily fit into either the Yildiz or Chico role. I've always preferred him. Would see him as a 10, so I guess it would make better. It would make sense to have Jadon Sancho there after Nico's replacement. But after losing out on Nico, I don't. I mean, I know people talk about O'Reilly. I guess I haven't seen much of him, but it's just that unless they bank on maybe Moretti, that could be the replacement. I don't see Coop doing it. I think Coop's more of a player that stands back,
But
maybe more in the
but
pivot.
now
But Moretti would be the
now
one, I think.
sorry, but now we're talking about, the well, the number 10ish position, more so than, somebody on the right hand side or the left hand side, right? Or, because you can use, like, and Julian is saying it, that's what I was going through, at, do we want a winger or number 10? That was a question I was getting to. So thanks, Julian. I have no idea what the club wants right now. Like, that is my point. Is it O'Reilly? Is it, well, Jadon Sancho? Either way, like, if you bring in O'Reilly, what if Conceição gets injured? What if Yildiz gets injured? Like, what is the like? I have so many questions, and I'm more confused right now than anything. And this can all go away if Atletico says, well, no thanks. While Nico says, then we know where we're at. But right now, I'm looking at it. I'm like, we're gonna see certain players play some very strange positions if some injuries, uh, happen throughout the season. So I maybe where we're going with it, but I don't know. I'm a bit confused.
I'm gonna stand with that. I think Moretti stays. He takes one of those two spots up front. I think that's your coverage. Um, if they let go of Nico and just to use the funds to bring in other transfer targets, I think maybe that's probably not the best option, right? But I think that's the option the team's going to go with. I mean, it saves them money, unless we do end up selling Meretti. But me personally, I think that's what it is. Is we let go of Nico, we use the money to get whoever we want to bring in for the attack and maybe the center back, and Meretti would be that player that slots in for either Chico or Yildiz to give him a break, which isn't a great name. Meretti is good, but like you know, it's rough, man. I hear you. It's rough because then it's gonna happen like last season, right? The Vlahovic, the
Yeah.
whole first half, we had one striker. Milik decided to. I don't know what Milik decided to do, but he was gone, and poor. I mean, I know we dog on Vlahovic, but the man played week in and week out, and I can you understand he could be tired, and there was no room to bench him. Like you have to start him, and the thing is, that's what's gonna happen. Like what happens if we start Yildiz every single game? then he gets injured, and then now we're screwed. We're out here playing coop miners in that spot, and it's a disaster ready to happen, in my opinion. I don't know where to go. I think Moretti would be the choice, but I don't think it's the right choice. But I think that's the choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And Norbert, keep it clean in the chat. Keep it clean. I know you made a typo, but still. But yeah, I mean, I mean, we will see what will happen. I mean, it's just it was kind of a bomb news. Like a lot of news came in today, and now it's a bit all over the place. I think with the Sancho thing, and everybody's a bit confused. I don't think the club is really well. The club says they're calm, so I need to go with it right now. And see how calm they will be, and see if they have a steady hand. But right now, it feels like it's shaking and it's not steady at all. But I could be wrong. Last question before I bring the next caller in.
Okay.
It's it's actually the 15th in an hour over here, so it's a 15. Let's say a good 2 weeks of the window, a day or two more, but like a good 2 weeks of the window. How many players do you think will end up leaving, and how many players how many players do you think we will end up signing? And with leaving, I don't care about Rui leaving on loan, by the way, for example. It's just real, like big-ish hitters that are going out of the door.
Realistically, someone, even if it's like loan with option to buy, not obligation. Especially like with looking at all the other players, like McKennie's always the same thing. He never wants to leave. He's probably gonna stay. Dusan, I think honestly he's gonna stay. I think the only one that does move that I don't not want to move would be Douglas.
Okay,
I'll take. Douglas leaves, and that brings in two players: the striker, which is Colo, and the center back. And then I think that's how we end our mercato.
Okay, so slightly positive, I would say.
No, I mean, we don't need an overhaul. I mean, in my opinion, we don't need an overhaul. We don't need to sign 4, 5, 6 players. The base is kind of good. I mean, I would, again, like my comment, I would not let go of Douglas. But you need to get funds. Like, do you want to let go of Cambiaso? Do you want to let go of Yildiz? Like, you got to ask yourself those questions. Like, where do you want to take the hit? And I guess Douglas is like your most, besides those two, Cambiaso and Yildiz, Douglas will bring you in the most money. And I think that's where it is. So, yeah, I think that's the only one that leaves. And I think we get 2 players in, and that's that.
Okay, fair play. I mean, I get your point, to be honest, as well. But yeah, Danny, thanks for calling in, as always. Always nice chatting with you. And speak to you soon.
Yeah, man. Take care.
Ciao.
Bye.
Okay, the next caller, you can unmute yourself, and I'll try to bring you in. This time, it should work.
Can Hello? You hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. What's your name? Because I cannot read.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it says Young EC.
Oh, I cannot even read that. So StreamYard is all over the place.
It's fine.
I want to move on to the next topic because we talked about Nico Gonzalez, etc. I want to talk about Douglas Luiz because Nico Shira just tweeted out that he's getting closer to joining Forest with a contract until 2030. Nothing else. Doesn't say loan obligation. It doesn't say anything. So it could be anything at this point. But Douglas Luiz, I did a podcast with Julian, and I dropped it earlier today, and we talked about, I want to throw O'Reilly into it and Miretti in the mix because the midfield is like somebody leaves, somebody comes in that midfield. That's kind of the stance of the club. But my question in the podcast to Julian was, is Douglas Luiz and Miretti a problem, and is O'Reilly a solution? I don't know if you watch a lot of Premier League,
I watch a couple, to be honest, because I watch both Serie A and Premier League. So,
well, even if you watched the Premier League last season, you didn't watch much of O'Reilly because he was injured. But
Yeah.
the question was, well, are those two a problem, and is O'Reilly the solution? Because that's what's going to happen. You move out Douglas Luiz and maybe Miretti, and you bring in O'Reilly. And the question is like, why? Like, is that really taking you from struggling to get top four like we did last season to, well, we're 2-3 steps ahead because we signed O'Reilly? Because I personally do not see it. And if anyone watched the podcast, Julian brought up a stat, and based on that stat, it's not going to happen. So the question is that really a thing right now that, those two players are a problem and we need a solution?
I'm gonna be completely honest. If we even bring Matt O'Reilly in, I don't think it will really make a difference too much in my book, because we're basing off a guy that has been injured for majority of the season and didn't get a lot of minutes at Brighton.
Yeah.
Now, I know obviously Douglas Luiz didn't have the best season, and obviously he was out, constantly injured and didn't really show a lot. But if you're asking me if we're getting rid of Moretti and Douglas Luiz for one midfielder, it just kind of feels like we're downgrading in a sense, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
I see your point. Somebody in the chat said everybody likes Douglas Luiz right now. Have you always liked Douglas Luiz, or have you never rated Douglas Luiz? Because I always liked Douglas Luiz, and I'm actually baffled why he's not like I don't know what happened last season. I have no clue. Or at the Club World Cup, I have no clue what happened. Why he didn't get minutes.
I mean, from what I've seen, he was pretty solid. He did have some really good performances in the Premier League. So I was quite surprised that it didn't really work out at Juve, both him and Coop Miners, as they were our marquee signings, because they were supposed to elevate our midfield, but it just didn't work out for some reason. And us bringing in Matt O'Reilly, like, I've only seen a few couple things, which, it does look like he can do almost anything in midfield, but that's only going off basis Celtic days. I'm not really at Brighton. So, I mean, it does look like Douglas Luiz will be on his way out. Hopefully, if, things don't get messed up or they pull out of the deal. But I don't really know, because it just kind of feels like we'll just be stagnant.
I mean, you know what it is? The way Douglas Luiz played, or whatever it is, I've not seen enough. And if the club is like, we've not seen enough. I mean, I've seen enough, not at Juve, so that maybe it's not fair. Oh, he did it somewhere else, not at Juve. Fair point. But I've seen enough from other players at the club who keep getting chances. That is where I
agree.
have an issue. And that's where I'm like, it doesn't really add up. Is it, if you don't rate Douglas Luiz as a club being fine, but you keep rating other players who've been here for ages and are not taking you to the next level, I cannot go with it. I cannot take your... You go, say.
I agree. Because I was gonna be like, one player I do like West, but I do agree he is one of the players that we've had for 4 years, and I'm even confused as to why he's even still in our football club, if I'm completely honest. Because the lead spell should have been an eye opener, not really a shock, but it should have been an eye opener to him not staying. And we're still seeing people like Kostic. And after watching the friendly game against the next gen, I'm like,
oh, he was getting cooked.
Remind me how old the guy is again?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, this might sound crazy. I don't know, some people might come after me for this, but from what I have seen, I would be so real. I know we want to get rid of Lord Kelly, but he has shown much more compared to Philip Kostic. Might sound crazy, but that's what I'm gonna say, if I'm being completely honest.
You say Kelly, right?
Yeah, Kelly.
If you give me the option, okay, Kelly has more value on the book. So if somebody offers you 20 million euros, I move out Kelly. Like, I move out Kelly because I want to make that money back.
Not even a consideration. Signed.
But if somebody at the club tells me you're gonna play Kostic 50% of the games or Kelly, I'm picking Kelly. I'm being honest. I'm picking Kelly because Kostic, like, at least Is defensive Cali good enough? No, but Kostic is horrible defensively as well. That's one. But at least in the build-up, Kelly can be somehow useful. Kostic is
Yeah,
useless. I know he can
he's
pop
just
up
a
with an
cross
assist.
merchant.
That's my like he can pop with an assist, but he needs about 100 attempts to finally make one. I mean, I cannot deal with that. Like I cannot watch Kostic play. Like even yesterday was the next gen, and it's a good thing
Yeah.
they invaded the pitch because I didn't want to watch it actually. But watching it and watching him play, it's just painful. And the fear factor is the way that the squad is set up. He's gonna pay quite a lot because injuries
Yeah.
are going to happen. He's gonna play quite a lot, and I mean, it's gonna cost us game. That's why I always bring up the same point, and people attack me in the comment sections when I say fifth options. But the thing is, these players are not fifth option. If somebody goes down at the back, Rugani is playing. And Rugani is playing a meaningful game, not one, a couple. Because look at last season, how many games players missed. Then it becomes an issue. That those are not backup. Those are like real squad players. Like I think there's
I'm
a backup player and there's a squad player and a backup
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
A squad player for me is somebody who basically comes in every single week or he plays games and then he gets subbed in minute 60. A backup
Yeah, just
player
to
for
patch
me,
things up.
yeah, a backup player is like I have nobody left, so buddy, rock up, you're gonna play. And we don't really have backup players. The only backup players we have is Rui, and he looked better than others yesterday, and he's not even that good, you know.
And
So
he basically gets no minutes, which is the crazy part.
because he had that
Um
one poor game, remember?
yeah, I remember one poor game and everyone was on him, and I'm like, but he looked, even despite being that bad, he still looked much better than some of the players that I've been seeing playing almost week in, week out. Because it's kind of like, for example, I think you even said it in one of your videos not too long ago about how Daniel Rugani and Kostic are like in their 30s and they were sent on loan. Like that should be a clear message already that you're just not the guy anymore. You just can't do it anymore, or you're not the right profile for the club. Because if you're telling me that we're still talking about Rugani as a backup option in 2025, that's kind of the reality of our situation. It's sad, but that's the situation we're in.
Yeah, I agree. I uh, I agree with that. I was checking some news, but there was no news. Somebody baited me. Padula said that Nottingham Forest want to close that deal really quickly, so that's kind of the news. But
Okay.
I think I think it's going to happen. You know, in which capacity, loan option, I don't know, but probably it's going to happen. I think we can all almost take that to the bank that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So we're
Oh,
on
oh,
the
I,
Douglas Lewis. No, you
oh,
say.
sorry. I just want to say another thing as well is that I know we're also going for Matt O'Reilly, but kind of linked to Douglas Luiz. From what I've seen, they like to operate a lot more better in a three-man midfield, which we're basically not playing. But and then the only other way I would ever see you using Matt O'Reilly is as an attacking midfielder. That's kind of the only other way I would see using him if we're going to be moving on Douglas Luiz, which begs the question: if we're going to do that, if he's playing as an attacking midfielder, then who do we bring in midfield as well? If that's what we're doing. If not, then it kind of just doesn't really make any sense to bring him in a two-man midfield.
I I I agree with that as well. That's actually a fair point. That's a good point. But then again, the players we have, like a lot of like where's Koopmeiners going to play in this formation?
He's playing
Let's
more
say
defensive now.
yeah, let's say he's semi decent, you know, but you can play him, you can trust him to play a game, for example,
Yeah.
because he made it very clear, I'm not an attacker, I'm a midfielder. Well, I mean, you're not gonna play a lot then. That's
I mean,
I
yeah, it's just. I mean, it's kind of like, because if I'm being completely honest, like when I look at our midfield right now, the minute Taram and Locatelli are out, it doesn't look good. So
No, it
and then
looks, it looks
it,
painful.
it actually looks painful to watch. And another thing as well is that we're now playing if we're now playing Cooper in a deeper position, because if I'm also not mistaken, there were times where Motta tried to use him in that position and it
Yeah.
just didn't work out. So I don't know how this is going to be any different. And they're saying that this is now the season where he's supposed to have his revival. So the only thing we can actually now do as fans is just hope and pray that he actually gets some form. But the way things are looking at right now, I'm not gonna. It's kind of seems like a far cry if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. Also, another update from Padula that Roma are, trying to close the Sancho deal basically now. Like as soon as possible. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think about Sancho? I don't really care about the name. I more care about the fact that we've not been linked with a backup. So with a backup
Yeah.
option. So what is the plan with Nico Gonzalez? Because if they're like, oh, we're not signing another winger, we have an issue as well because we do not have enough players.
We don't even have enough squad depth. It's just yeah. So on the Sancho thing, so how I feel about Sancho is that he is obviously technically gifted. He's very good at getting out of tight spaces. However, my biggest problems with Jadon Sancho is obviously his attitude and his lack of work ethic, which is clearly shown, which is one of the reasons why United wanted to get rid of him. And even when I saw we were linked with him, I was thinking, what are we thinking about? Because we all saw, imagine Chelsea were obligated to buy Jadon Sancho, and they said no because of the amount of wages he was asking for. Because I remember before because I watched the Conference League final, right? I remember a lot of people saying they didn't want Sancho, and after one performance, they were all saying now they want to keep him and stuff like that. But I'm like, that was only one game. At Chelsea, there were only some moments where he was pretty good, and then after that, he was just flat. He was just pretty flat. And on the thing about depth, I mean, the only other thing I could think of is if we did bring in Colomwani and then we use Jonathan David as a 10, because I know he can play for Canada. And that brings another issue, because if either Colomwani or David gets injured, we only have one striker.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. Somebody said he needs to go out of England and plays better abroad. Well, funny enough, he does. But I mean, my thing is, I don't know. Like maybe the club has a solution, and I don't see it right now, and it would all make sense. But right now, it doesn't really make sense because Komoli said so well. If a winger, he said somebody needs to leave first. Well, somebody is potentially leaving, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't feel you have another option ready to go, but we'll see. It would all make sense probably very soon.
Wait, I also did see someone in the comments say that Sancho and Gasperini are a recipe for disaster. I'm guessing maybe because of clash. Yeah, we saw what happened with Adam and Lookman as well. So
we'll see. We'll see.
The thing is, I left the comment one time saying, because I know I obviously gave up on Mercato because right now it doesn't seem like we have a lot of answers. But one thing I will say at least is that what did give me a bit of focus, at least when I have watched a bit of our friendlies, one good sign I can see is we look a lot more united as a team. I can see that the players communicate a lot more with each other on the pitch, which looks really good. And I can also see a lot of relationships being built. So I think that could be a little bit of a saving grace for our season, at least.
I mean, we will see. We play Saturday, and then it's game week and we build up to Parma on Sunday, and we'll see how ready we are. But to be honest, we haven't changed much. We have Jonathan David up top. We don't have Colomani. You got Joao Mario, but yeah,
who's only good defensively. So I mean,
you
he's only good
lost
defensively,
Vega.
but yeah.
You
Yeah, we
lost
lost
Vega.
Vega.
So have you improved?
No, not
I don't
really.
really see it. Not really. I mean, we haven't done anything really. So it's basically the same team, and you're just banking your hopes on Tudor changing the mentality, which I like. You can bring mentality, but you still need quality, and I've seen enough from these players to suggest that the quality isn't really there, and that is my biggest
Yeah,
problem right now. So
cause last season it was like you know, Yildiz, Taram, Cambiaso when he was performing good, or when Locatelli had a good game. If any of those four players were out or not performing,
we had an issue.
we had a big issue. We
Yeah,
had a big issue. So
I we'll
I
see.
mean, we'll see. Yeah,
Man, thanks for calling in. I think it's the first time, right?
yeah. This is
Correct me.
my first time. Yeah,
Okay. It was nice talking to you. Hopefully you call in maybe next week. Try to do it once a week, so we'll see.
yeah.
Um,
Hopefully, because usually sometimes I'm just in the comment section. So I thought today, you know what? Maybe I'll just do the calling for the first time. So
it was fun, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it as
Ciao.
well. Ciao.
Um. Okay. Next caller, Khalid. Right? You can unmute yourself, and people can hear
Yeah,
you. Okay. People can
yeah, I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Quickly, somebody in the chat said, "Can we go for Lukman because Inter is moving away?" I'm gonna be honest. I've never been a fan of Lukman like that, especially not for 50 million. But that's just preference, in my opinion. So no, we're not gonna go for him, and I don't want the club really to go for him that much. We're gonna talk about a different topic right now because we discussed everything. I'm getting feedback. Is that me? That's weird. Um, I was going to talk about Colomani because apparently the news from Dimarzo saying that Colomani is getting closer and closer to Juve for a fee of around 60 million euros or 65 million euros, which I refuse to believe because that's way too much. That will be put us over 70 million in total for Colomani. I don't think he's worth that money. We're in a position where we have no other option, but that doesn't mean we need to start paying ridiculous money for Colomani. So, I lost the caller. So I will keep talking until he comes back. When it comes to Colomani, we're in a tough position where if you don't get Colomani, you have Jonathan David, Vlahovic, who's getting booed in preseason friendly, and Milik. I don't know. I don't know where Milik is. So people can hear you again. So I don't know where Milik is. But my question to you, Khalid, if you can speak, is your mic is not connected. But the question to the chat as well is, how much is Colomani worth? Like, how much do you think Colomani is worth? Because 65 plus the 5 or 6 we already paid for the loan seems ridiculous to me.
For me, I think there are two factors that will play out in this deal. The fact that if we don't get Kolomwani, we really don't have a choice on the market right now. So I'm thinking the club might be inclined to or get forced by PSG to pay close to what they want. So in my view, 40 million euros should be like the amount I would go for. But the way it's going, I'm guessing it's probably like a 10 million loan and a 50 million obligation. So, and I see us paying it because if we don't get Kolo money, there's really not much options on the market right now, considering the Vlahovic situation. Like, we cannot start Vlahovic next season. Next season, if we start and we see Vlahovic in the starting lineup, it's going to be a hell of a game. Vlahovic is literally out of the game. So we have to just try and not really satisfy PSG's needs, but get close to it.
I mean, you said, PSG know our situation basically. Can I flip it and we know PSG situation where the player only wants us and they want to get rid of Colomani? Like, shouldn't that be some sort of leverage
You
for
could,
us?
You could flip it, but at the same time, if it's like 2 days before the market closes and Colomboan is seeing no movement on Juve's part, I don't think he will say no to a Premier League move like a Tottenham or another club.
Okay, that. I mean, it was just a question because, I mean, it would make sense. It would make sense unless Colomani knows what PSG are gonna drop their demands, and yeah, you can call it.
Yeah, but
Is it-
but but but, but in the end, I see us getting Colomani at the end of the day. I see us getting Colomani at
I
the end of the
agree.
day.
I think we all get him at the end of the day because we are left with no other option. So I do agree with that part that we will get him because, I mean,
And
what
I
else are
don't
we gonna
know
do?
if you saw the links. It's kind of totally out of like the podcast, but I saw Manu Kone to Inter Milan this evening.
Yeah, I talked about it
The
already.
Roma
That could
midfielder.
affect so many things. It can affect Lukman to Atletico and Nico staying. Like, if they don't sell Kune, they don't get Sancho because they don't have the funds. But I think they will sell Kune. So, um, I mean, it can all flip. Like the news from today can mean absolutely nothing tomorrow because tomorrow we can wake up and uh, they're not signing Kone. That means they're not going to sign Leon Bailey and Jadon Sancho, and we go for Jadon Sancho because Atletico go for Nico, or Lukman goes to Atletico and Nico stays. Like, it can all flip really quickly. It really can. So that's why I'm like, what is what can you believe right now as something you can take to the bank, and what is more of speculation.
I really think the issue with Lookman is people are looking at the Gasparini system effect. Like once it leaves the system, he can't really perform. That's just my personal opinion on why some clubs may just want to just back off because Miners has taught everyone a big lesson about Atalanta players.
I agree with that. um, People hit the like button because we only have 32 likes. That's not enough. Also, the people who became a member, uh, reach out to me on social media so I can put you in the private group chat and in the prediction league where you can win well, a jersey, gift cards, and stuff like that, because prediction league starts next week with our first game against Parma. So everybody who became a member, thanks, but reach out to me so I can I'll put you in the group chat like the other members as well. Next question I was going to, or whatever you want to talk about in general, is I'm going to go back a little bit because I didn't really speak on Molina, but we have an issue on the right back, right wing back, whatever you want to call it. Thing is, Kostic going to play there? Is Savona going to stay? That's a question. And are you going to play Savona there? Period. Right now, it feels like it's Kostic. I've seen the media talk about, well, Nico Gonzalez can play that, but we're linked to Molina. Even though Spanish reports are saying Atletico Madrid want to pay for Nico Gonzalez if they sign Nico Gonzalez rather than including Molina. But will you take Molina in a deal for Nico Gonzalez, or do you prefer just to get cash?
Based off what I've seen for the past 2 seasons, I would say no. Molina hasn't really been existent. As a matter of fact, I forgot he played after the World Cup. The World Cup was the last memorable moment I have with Molina. That's the goal against Netherlands in the semi-final. So it's kind of it's not a Kelly level player to be honest, but he's not a needle mover as well. He's just going to for me, if it's for us getting Nico Gonzalez out, I'm fine with the deal because I really want Nico to move on so we can get other things done. So if it's Atletico offering Molina plus like a 15 million or 20 million cash deal, no problem. But it's Molina is not a player that I'm eager to see. It's just more of filling in numbers. But if he could get back to his best last when he was at Udinese, which is a very big if, sure, no problem. But for now, it's not a player that is a needle mover. It's just there. I actually forgot he played, to be very honest. I actually forgot. Like when I saw the links, I had to go and research who is Molina. So
I mean, somebody says get Munoz. Yeah, but there's no chance. I mean, they lost. Um, They might lose Eze. They might lose Gay. They already lost. Well,
They,
they already lost some. Like they're not going to sell their entire team, But I mean, if, yeah, I mean, it's like there's also not been enough links to be calm right now. If you know what I mean, like there's not been enough links to say, you know what, if they don't sign Jadon Sancho, and again, I'm not the biggest
yeah,
Jadon Sancho fan at Juve, but there's not enough news out there to suggest, oh, stay calm. They have other options and
yeah.
maybe
I
better
do.
options. The only
I do have
options out
a
there are different positions. That is what worries me. It feels like, oh, if we get a winger, good. If not, then we will get another attacking midfielder and we will switch it up. I mean, I'm like, it's two different, complete playing styles for your team. So that is the worrying part for me.
I do have like a crazy wild card. Since we are looking to get out Miretti and McKennie's contract expiring next year, why don't we offer one of them for Manu Kone to Roma?
I mean, I think Roma want cash because they want to reinvest that. I don't think they want McKennie or Miretti, to be honest. Maybe they want McKennie, but in a separate deal. I think they want cash for Cornet so they can, buy Jadon Sancho or whatever, and Bailey and whoever they want still. I don't think they would take McKennie in that deal, to be honest. If so, amazing. Ship him out. I mean, if you pull off Kone and you get McKennie out of the door in one, in one moment, that's. I mean, I will build a statue for Komoli. Not gonna lie, but it's not going to happen. They need the money, Roma,
Yeah,
and
just
that's why they're actually, because I think
yeah.
40 million for Kone is very cheap.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
He's
I'm actually
actually a
very
very good
surprised
player.
it's just going for 40 minutes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm also I'm actually a bit shocked. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm.
But yeah,
I've always been wanting. I've always been wanting to like ask like a fellow Juve fan about this. What's your thought on Jao Mario and what you have seen so far?
I mean, I've said it when we signed him, and so far I've been proven right. I said he has a big engine going forward. It's better. I don't think defensively is good, and so far that's what I've seen from Joe Mario. It's not a much, a bit against Reggiana, a bit against Dortmund, but attacking wise, he looks good. He reminds me a little bit of Quadrado, where he can, come into the field, and move quickly. Not that quick, but a little bit. But defensively, his awareness is not fantastic. It's a bit irrational at times. But if you can use him and you play in a way where you can actually push him up the off the field, making runs and actually trying to get in behind, not even with the ball, just making the runs, he can be very useful. But the thing is, well, out of possession, he's a bit iffy. Actually, he's very iffy. I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to be nice, so I hope it improves because Cambiasso, when he first came in, he was iffy defensively. He improved.
Yeah,
He dropped back, but
yeah,
not that much to the extent when he was earlier on. But if you like, I want defenders who can defend, But
yeah.
if
Just do the
if he
basic. Just do the
becomes
basic stuff.
yeah, if he becomes semi decent, him and Cambiaso, but each of them end the season with a 7 GA. I'm like, fantastic, fantastic. Just become semi decent defensively. But if you contribute, if you make a mistake every game or not, but you make it up with an assist every or a goal every game or night, not not, it will kind of balance itself out. I can live with that. But if it's only mistakes and basically no contribution up front, then yeah, it's gonna be a long season for us.
That's all right. Then consigning if Sancho goes to Roma, what do you think like our fallback option will be?
I don't I don't know.
'Cause that's also a situation to monitor.
That yeah, I mean, Dimar's saying, "Oh no, that's old news. That's very old news." But we will see. Again, the news we discussed today can be completely irrelevant tomorrow morning. So it's very, very tough to actually, say something about it because whatever I say right now or we say right now, it can be completely outdated in the morning already. So
Yeah,
we need to
yeah.
be careful with that. But I think we all gave our thoughts. Eddie is not gonna let it go, so I'm gonna bring it up for Eddie, and I'm gonna ask you: should we have signed Luca instead of Jonathan David? Because he thinks, and again, everybody has his preference, not calling somebody out, but Eddie thinks we should have signed Luca instead of Jonathan David. So Luca was around 30 million ish, and Jonathan David was free.
In my opinion, if you're signing Luca, you're basically getting a type of striker which Vlahovic is. So, and if we look at the way Tudor plays his football, as a striker, you need to be quick in transitions and have combination plays as we saw in the Club World Cup, which is why I think going for Luka wouldn't make much sense because if you are looking to move out Vlahovic, then what's your take on getting like what's the essence of getting Luka? Luka, I think Luka scored 11 goals for Udinese last season. So for me, I'm not really big fan of lanky target man. Like I've said it before, I don't rate Haaland. I don't like those type of strikers.
I mean, that's fair. He says he will get more goals than David. It could be. Lukaku was injured, so he could become the main guy.
No,
Um,
him getting more goals than David will depend on how Napoli play for him and how we play for David. And I don't think David has come into our setup to be like the goal poacher, the way we
no,
have been
I
setting up now. I think the goals this no this goals this the goals this season will be kind of distributed between Udis, David, and probably Colomwani then Conceição if he can pick up his head and finish.
I agree. I think the idea is to spread it out more than that, because I said when we signed Colomani, he's not the number 9 who's going to get you 25 goals, nor is David on his own. I think
Yeah,
it's to all
yeah,
spread it out.
we're basically paying the money we're paying for Kolomani for pace and combination play. I don't think Tudor is looking at Kolomani. Oh, you're gonna get me 20 goals this season. I don't think that's the logic behind
I
that.
agree. That's why I also think like
So it's,
65, like Dimarzio was saying, plus so fee already paid to loan him is too much, because he's not that guy. And I know people
yes,
said, "Oh, but look at Sesko, he went for 80." Well, that's Manu's problem. That's not our problem. Again, Sesko,
and
everybody
I,
everybody wanted
and I
it.
have a
Nobody.
and I kind of have a I have a hot take. Both Sesko and Gyokeres will flop this season.
That's a hot take. I mean, I really like Sesko, but I mean, Manu is a bad place to go. But I think Gyokeres will get his goals. I do believe he will get his goals somehow, because purely because Arsenal dominate
And
most
again,
of the games.
another striker nobody's really talking about is Mateta from Newcastle. As a Newcastle from Crystal Palace, rather. It's kind of, I think it is linked with Atalanta as well as Moniz from Fulham.
Yeah, Fulham. Yeah, when he's from
Yeah.
Fulham. But I mean, we will see how that will go. I mean, the predictions. Somebody asked when I am going to do the prediction league. Somebody also asked what Julian's channel is. Julian doesn't have a channel. He just jumps on. Um, Hopefully once a month. That's the goal. Maybe twice a month, depending. But the prediction video will be out the first week of September during the international break, because I'm not going to predict a league when there's 2 weeks of the window still open. I'm not going to do it. It's not fun. So prediction video for me and Julian will be out the first week of September, probably midway September, and then we will see. Um, Anyways, Khalid, thanks for joining. Thanks for calling in again, as always. Pleasure.
Thank,
And
thank
we
you
will
very
speak to
much.
each other soon.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Same for you. Ciao. Yeah, people. I'm also gonna wrap it up. Top 5 Premier League predictions. Well, they kick off this week, right? Cool. And Sesko is not the finished product. I agree with you. But I think his potential is good. It's maybe not an out and out like a complete batsman where he's getting 30 plus goals, but I think he's a good talent. He's a good player. Um, because somebody asked me, I will do that, and then we'll wrap it up. Top 5 Premier League prediction. I'm gonna go. Oh, it's tough. You should say Liverpool, but their backline It's not defensively. It's not that good, but they're signing Gary. Oh my God, Mark. I will call him Mark from Crystal Palace. For some, cannot pronounce his Gay, Mark Gay, and Leone. But yeah, Liverpool need to win it. They have no other choice. They need to win it. Tough one. I'm gonna say Liverpool. City, I don't know. They might sign Rodrigo still from Real Madrid. Arsenal. I will go Liverpool, Arsenal, City, because I don't think that City backline is all good. Chelsea, and then Newcastle. I think Newcastle still will be good, even without Isaac, if you sell, because I think Eddie Howe was a good coach for what he does and what he has at his disposal. Villa, nah. Forest finished 7 last season. I'm gonna say it's one of Tottenham or Man U. I think they're gonna flip the script completely. So I'm gonna go. Let me say Man U. Fifth. Anyways, it's not a Premier League channel. But I'm gonna wrap this one up. We will see tomorrow what type of news there will be out there to discuss. It might change completely, and everything we talked about in this live will be completely irrelevant. Could be the case, but we will see tomorrow. Hopefully, there's some better news for the fan base. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel as always. Also to the new members, reach out to me so you can participate in the prediction league, can win that jersey, gift cards, and all that, and also join the group chat and discuss the Juve throughout the day. It's fun to say the least. Anyways,